My name is Alexander Weber, and I will be debating the proposition rebuttal. Now, the concern is the preservation of knowledge which can be gained from extraterrestrial bodies. The concern is not the recovery of resources. Until the cost of living here on Earth exceeds $100 billion, the cost necessary to go to Mars and presumably get the resources back here, then the population will simply decrease as the cost of living increases. Parents start having fewer children, resources here on Earth are sustained. My primary concern is the knowledge which can be gained from the organisms outside of Earth. Now, these organisms could hold keys to problems we never knew existed. How can we live forever? How can food be regenerated more easily? How is life formed? Where does life exist? How can it exist in such a harsh environment? How can you cure Parkinson's? For all we know, we just don't know. However, the keys to unlocking the basics of life and how the very concept of how life is formed, they could be questioned. And that could lead to tremendous scientific discoveries and advancements for the human way of life that we just can't imagine. Far more valuable than mere resources which can be conserved and recycled here on Earth. The risk of contamination of an extraterrestrial body by humans could be substantial. This is because both prions and viruses in particular, they are only bundles of organic molecules. They don't eat, sleep, or breathe, and they don't need an atmosphere to survive in. For this reason, prions and viruses could be transmitted through the vacuum of space and onto extraterrestrial bodies and potentially destroy massive ecosystems, cause ecological disasters similar to the examples I gave in the opening speech. The United Nations can and will use force to enforce its international law. They've implemented sanctions against Iraq from the early to mid-90s. They intervened when the Bosnians were being killed by the Serbs. They intervened when the North Koreans invaded the South. They implemented sanctions against Zimbabwe during their genocide. International law can and has been enforced, and it has been enforced quite effectively. And in particular, if there's an issue with resources and there's a chance that a country will go back on its word, the sanctions could be disastrous, especially in a situation where resources here on Earth are scarce and trade is an absolute necessity.